Marjorie. It's an honor to be on the panel with all of you. And thank you all for coming here. There's a lot of political issues, a lot of value issues, cultural issues that we face and that we're facing at this Values Voter Summit as Americans, as people who care. But the most fundamental issue is the question of what is a life worth? What is a human being worth? The question of human value. And if we don't get that question right, then how good our economy is, or even the potential success of our economy, or immigration, or foreign policy, all of these things don't matter if we get the fundamental question of how we treat each other wrong, how we treat the weakest among us. Because how we treat the weakest among us is really the measure of our greatness, right? That's been said many times before. So how are we going to treat the weakest among us, our unborn brothers and sisters? We've all heard about Planned Parenthood. I'm going to share a couple quick things. You've heard, or may have seen, raise your hand if you've seen any of the videos. I encourage you to watch them. If you haven't, share them with your friends. We know they're the biggest abortion chain. We know they get $1/3 of $1 billion from the government. We know about their many abuses that are connected to that ultimate abuse of abortion. We know how they mistreat, ultimately, women, sexual abuse victims, willing to work with traffickers. We know all of these bad things. But I want to bring our attention to three ways that I believe we can continue to work to win this fight. And not just the fight against Planned Parenthood. They're just the biggest attacker right now on human life. The biggest attacker on families, on women, and on our children. But not just to bring down this organization that's doing so much ill, but to establish in our country that creed, that culture of life, of respect for each other at all costs, at any cost. All for one life. To protect that one life and to see each other as God sees us, which is that we're made in His image. So those three things, the first of all is taking personal responsibility, treating each other with respect, seeing that as the most fundamental value in our country, the most fundamental political, social, moral issue, is treating each other with the dignity that each person deserves, starting with that unborn child. And then getting more active. I love what Marjorie was saying, but now's the time to fight. Even if we lose in 2012, but we're not going to. We're going to win. But even if we lost, God will use that if we are willing to allow Him to use us for good, for ultimately to bring our country back. But we have to put up a fight. We have to use our willpower, and we have to not give up now. And the final thing is use new technologies. I'm so excited to be a part of Live Action. Our whole goal, besides exposing injustice through investigative journalism like with Planned Parenthood, is to rally people online using social media. So use those technologies. Start a fight on Facebook, on your wall, for justice and for human dignity. Start a fight. Go set up emails. Make sure that you're involved on blogs. We are taking over the talking mouths, the talking pieces, the talking heads. We're taking over the traditional news media just by getting the truth out through social media. A small example of this, CNN wouldn't cover Live Action's work for 4 years. And then they finally caved it after 4 years, and now CBS Nightly News is airing our videos. If we keep doing what's right, if we keep sharing the truth about human dignity, the reality of what's happening with Planned Parenthood, we will have that political impact ultimately, we will have that media impact, but it takes us to continue to be fervent and continue to be committed in communicating that truth and being bold in communicating that truth. Thank you.